He's all of the rainbows, but none of the rain. He's dry, but he's an alcoholic. He's hosting this train wreck again and again, and he wears a hat. He's Kevin Pollak.
All right, I will introduce my next guest. I'm very excited, actually, because although we've worked together on a couple of things, I have always admired his work as a fellow actor. And again, it really is for me about hearing the life stories of how people get from there to here. And when I mentioned to a number of people that after a few invites or a few attempts to land this particular guest, when he said, "Yeah, sure, stop bugging me." Of course, he didn't phrase it that way. But when he said yes, people around here and others I spoke to were very, very excited because there's a huge fanship for Mr. Josh Malina.
Hello.
How are you, pal?
Good, how are you?
Good Yontif Pontiff.
I got the willow cup.
You like that?
You were so much smaller then.
Well, no, I'm even smaller.
There
Yeah, yeah, with a little rat hat. So how about that George Gallo?
Wow, is he more interesting and accomplished than I? I should have gone first.
No.
We should have front-loaded and finished with him, but I enjoyed listening.
Yeah, you're so wrong.
We'll see.
We will indeed.
The jury's out. It's early.
Let's start first with your early days, if we may, and not so back as January 17th, 19 whatever.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I want to first ask about the Orthodox school.
Yeshiva days, sure.
You attended as a very young man.
I am a yeshiva bacher.
I'm not outing you as being a Jew.
No, I am Jewish.
Okay. Your parents were conservative.
Yes. We've always been sort of a hodgepodge of we do this, we don't do that, but I think if we had to, where in the continuum we fell was probably most closely conservative Judaism.
Right.
But we belonged to an Orthodox shul, and there was no conservative yeshiva nearby, like the Solomon Schechter of the day nowadays. And so I went to Orthodox yeshiva, Westchester Day School, in Mamaroneck, New York.
See, I was raised Reform, which means we're practically Catholic.
Sure. I now go to a Reconstructionist shul,
do
which
you?
I love.
And
So I've been through.
Okay, well,
It's a fluid thing.
I don't.
One of the things I love about Judaism.
Evolution.
Sure.
Reconstruct. What did you? How did you say that?
Reconstructionist.
Yeah. See, I'm so far through the other end of it that I'm out of it,
I understand.
if you will.
They keep pulling me back in.
Right.
Yeah.
Constructionist.
Sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to, because I wrote it down because I want to get to that. I want to understand what the hell that means.
I won't be able to explain it well, but I'll give it.
Good. But so, how old are you when you go to the Orthodox?
First grade.
So right out of the chute, really, beyond kindergarten, which I don't know if
That
you
is
attended.
true. I went to kindergarten, went to public school, and then into the yeshiva.
Public school, because you said
Normal kindergarten.
okay, yeah, right,
And then first through
and which is really
grade.
just mats, and you're eating
Yes.
paste, and
Nap
you're a normal
time.
child.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
And when I say normal, I mean the way that most Americans went to kindergarten.
Right.
Because you're first grade in an Orthodox school.
Not most Americans experience.
Yeah. So, as a first grader, is it obvious that things are a little more strict with the teachings?
My recollection, truly, even back to first grade,
Right.
and Mrs. Rosenblatt, who was the Hebrew teacher, is that ethics was a big part of what I got at school. That's the thing. Ethics. In other words, living a moral life.
Yes.
I remember that being sort of part of the curriculum, which I think is a wonderful thing, looking back.
Maybe
and
not.
it didn't strike me as odious or strict. Or I just, I knew on Friday mornings you had to bring a little bit of money for tzedakah, for charity.
Right.
And you'd line up, and under Mrs. Rosenblatt's watchful eye, you'd put a little money in the pushki, the little box, and you'd say, "Mitzvah gedolah latet tzedakah." It's an important mitzvah, commandment, to give charity.
At the age of 6.
At the age of 6, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
And it always sat well with me. It was not, a lot of people have the, God, I hated Hebrew school thing.
Well, Hebrew school is a whole other beast.
That's true. But this was like hardcore Hebrew school. It was, half day English, half day Hebrew and Torah and Jewish studies, and I loved it.
You loved it?
I did.
Yeah. Well, that's the important part. Because I mentioned on the show here a while back, because we did a show on Easter Sunday, and I found something at the Bed Bath & Beyond that was the 10 plagues.
I can get you 20% off.
Yeah, can you?
I have a coupon.
Why don't they hand those out more freely?
Yeah, those are hard to come by.
They really are.
And yet, if you don't have it, they won't give you. I'm like, really?
Yeah. I only have to go to the mail every day in order to get one of these.
Exactly.
But
you have to have it.
And they had the 10 plagues as 10 little finger puppets on a wheel.
Nice.
Finger puppets.
Sure.
So then
the slaying of the firstborn puppet.
Right?
That is a nice,
Which is the 10th
Kids
plague.
love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I thought, who's this for? Honey, it spoils. Where you going? Right?
Yes. This is your
now,
second reference to the plagues, by the way.
But
I'm impressed.
So now
you did it with George.
Well, I only learned the plagues from this wheel at Bed Bath & Beyond. But now, so I'm wondering, as I'm making this joke, honey, it's the boils, come back where you're running. But the very serious teachings going on, because I got to be honest with you, in public school where I attended, first grade had nothing to do with ethics or the teachings of any religion,
Right.
So that's why I guess I'm so fascinated by the structure. So then to hear that ethics is actually being put forth at such a young age, I'm thinking this has to go for all schools. Because I first noticed the beginning of the end of civilization when I went into the public restroom of a restaurant, and the seat was down in the men's stall, which is where I need to urinate, because I don't like a lot of looky-loos.
Nor do I. I'll be honest with you. I'll be candid.
I don't need the pressure of the guy in line behind me. I want that door closed. I have a little pee anxiety, I'm not going to lie to you. But the seat's down, and there's urine all over it. So this was the first sign of the end of civilization to me, because although this has been going on apparently in women's bathrooms for centuries, this was fairly new that there was pee on the seat, because what that said to me in a nanosecond was, fuck the next guy. I don't care. I don't care, in fact, about anyone but myself. I need to pee, and I'd rather not lean down to lift the seat. So ethics at age 6, pretty damn amazing.
I think so.
Yeah. And you feel as though it definitely formed you as a father now of 2 young'uns?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I do a lot of the things that I learned. I wake up and
Do you make them put a little money in the...
There's no excess money these days. But, yes, no, I definitely try to teach my kids. I mean, I'm raising them Jewish, and to me that is part and parcel of trying to live a good life and trying to have, come from a moral place. Tikkun olam, which is the idea that we help repair the world.
Nice.
That we leave the world a little bit of a better place than we found it. And so.
What are the ages of these 2?
My daughter Isabel is 11. My son Avi is 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good older sister to Avi is...
Might they be watching?
Well,
yeah,
at some point, maybe not with all the swearing.
No, she is a good older. I wish they got along better. Mm-hmm. I didn't envision the sibling strife that is a frequent part of my day. I have 2 sisters, got along very well with both, unless perhaps I'm looking back with rose-colored glasses, but my memory is that I got along very well with my sisters always.
What's the age difference between you and
a sister is 2.5 years older than I, and a sister is 8 years younger than I.
Yeah, so you said 11 and 7. That's a
they
chasm.
Were yes. Well, I mean, she was the star of the show for 4.5 years.
And by the way, by the time she's 4.5, she understands that she's the star of the show.
Yes, exactly.
It's not just the older one, the first.
Yeah, and very early on, upon bringing Avi home from the hospital, there was a time where everything was backwards, and he was sleeping during the day, and he was awake all night.
Right.
And we were desperately trying to lull him into a new sleep pattern. And my daughter sort of extemporized a verse of this lullaby that basically was something along the lines of, Avi, 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 go to sleep now, otherwise I'll have to hit you in the head with a hammer, and then you'll die, and I'll never forgive you. And we looked at her, and she said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to sing it.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, issues.
So at
And
5, she's hilarious.
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
So,
Well, that's the good news.
Yeah.
She's got ethics and can find a weapon.
yes.
All right, so the next question I have to ask you
Yeah.
is way off the beaten track
Bring it.
that we've thusly walked. LASIK.
LASIK surgery, yes.
Tell me about it.
I've had it.
And
It works.
What was
it's
your
a miracle.
Well,
but something went slightly wrong when I had it done.
slow down, because this is where the plot thickens.
Yes.
Let's back it up.
Sure.
Let's leave them hanging with it. There's trouble to come. And let's
Yes.
back it up to the decision going into it and the endless research that I assume you did as a Jew.
Yes. I asked around.
A little bit, because we're taught to ask
Sure.
why.
I've worn glasses for a long time, or I had up until that point. I can't really accessorize. In some ways, I regret. I want to start possibly wearing prop glasses because I miss it. There's only so much jewelry we men can get away with, and I a little bit miss wearing glasses. Nonetheless, a very poor eyesight, very nearsighted, and it just seemed like they have a thing where they can cut your eyes into the shape of your glasses, and then you can see. I don't know if that's technically what they're doing, but something along those lines.
Right.
So I decided to do it.
And how much research into it did you do prior?
I Googled it. No, I don't know. I make a lot of life
It's okay
decisions.
to say I didn't do any research.
Not a lot.
Okay, great.
Not a lot.
I mean, you must have watched video of the procedure, or did you not want to know?
I'm pretty
Because
good.
it's
When it
not
comes to
pretty.
me,
It's not pretty that
no, I don't
slice
know,
away
but,
a layer of my
I
eye.
remember
please.
being particularly
Concerned.
scared about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thrive on anxiety and concern. But usually, I think it's now that I'm a father, it's all about the kids.
Right.
Do what you want.
Cut my eyes all you
Exactly. As long as the kids are fine.
need. And for those who haven't done it and are maybe a little utsy about it, tell us about the moment that you're lying there, because it's not a long moment, and they've
No,
propped
they
your
have
eyes
the
open.
Clockwork Orange thing. I think it's called a speculum, but I may have made that up.
Speculum
That may
sounds
be in OBGYN.
gynecological, yeah.
It was speculate. I know that.
Not
And it
that
was-
your eyes do not resemble vaginas. Let's not.
Mine in
let's not make
particular,
that
or
mistake.
just in general?
No, I meant yours.
You're not wrong.
In the case that they're endless, beautiful pools. What?
Thank you.
Wait a minute.
Anyway, I don't know. The thing
So
is
you're
holding my
lying there,
eye
and
open.
there's not a speculum thing opening you up.
And something is lowered, and they say there will be pressure, and I felt a little pressure.
Not
and
something lowered, a laser.
I guess. Who even remembers? I don't remember. Is it a laser? Is it a knife? I don't know. I've blocked it all, I guess. But yeah, I guess
There's
they
no
lower-
medication. You're awake.
There's a little Xanax beforehand, or Valium, or
Who's not
something.
enjoying that right now?
Exactly.
But
So-
as the blade or knife or laser, as the James Bond instrument comes toward you,
You'll feel a lot of a strong pressure, and I felt it, okay. And then he lifted it, and the doctor said, I need to talk to you for a moment in my office. Really? And I went, really?
wait a minute, you still have the thing in your eye and he says that?
No, he's now removed the apparatus. I can't really remember what I could see or what I couldn't. I went back to his office. He said, I've done 20,000 of these, and this has happened twice before. The speculum, and I said, isn't that an OBGYN term? He said, that's right, but I can't remember. I can't remember what it's actually called. Did not hold your eye wide enough. I didn't get a long enough cut. And as a result, you need to come back in 6 months.
Oh, fuck
It has
me.
to heal, yeah. The eye has to heal, and I'll redo it. No big medical
And no extra charge,
ramifications.
sir.
That's what I think my wife's most shocked by. She's like, really? You're still paying full price? There's no discount, no 20%. And then his next question was, do you want to go do the other eye? And foolishly, I felt like, I don't want to walk out with nothing. So we did the other eye, it went fine. I had to wear one contact lens for 6 months while it healed, although it didn't hurt, and my eyesight was fine. But
What's going
it
through your
healed.
mind as he's saying these things? 2 out of 20,000. Because clearly, before you have the surgery done, this is the concern. I've done so many of these. I have to be honest with you. I don't know what happened. But
I was not happy. I was definitely very concerned. Although he allayed my fears pretty quickly because I was worried that I had lost my sight or something. But it was clear that nothing. He said most doctors would finish it, do it again. I'm telling you, the thing to do is let it heal. So that I didn't have to hear twice. I said, fine, I'll see you in 6 months. But then we went and did the other eye, and then I remember.
which seemed to go well.
Yes. And then he said, you have to wear this big, this crazy Land of the Lost plastic eyepiece so that you don't get hit in the eye. And I said, well, I don't normally get hit in the eye. I don't think it's going to be a problem. He said, believe me, you have to wear it. Then I got home and my kids were like, click, 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 click. Like, thank God I have this plastic thing. I didn't realize how frequently they're the one that we had done. Oh yeah, good question.
Why wasn't it covering the botched
It probably
eye?
Was over both for a while.
You blocked out all of this.
I have.
How long ago did this happen?
Yesterday. I don't know. It's been like 5 years.
Oh.
The end result is I wake up and I can see and it works.
But you had to go back.
But I wonder if I would work more if I wore glasses still.
Really?
Yeah. I'm getting old and you can see.
Get me the guy with the glasses?
And, we wear glasses. It covers up that. So.
Really? They were saying, get me the guy with the glasses? No, not this guy.
Exactly.
That's happening?
No, I don't know.
No. All right. God forbid we talk about your actual work. So let's start about. Let's go to the beginning, the moment that you're done with Yeshiva and you're thinking, I want to be an actor.
Sure. And I was by then, actually. Literally, I knew I wanted to be an actor in 8th grade when we did Damn Yankees. I played the devil at Yeshiva, which I think is an accomplishment. But, I knew I wanted to be an actor.
Other than playing Hitler at Yeshiva,
Exactly.
I think the devil's going to be
the hooved one, as you so
the hooved
articulately put it. Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, I knew as a kid that I wanted to be an actor,
and
which
why,
was a blessing in a way.
why did
just
you
because
know that?
I had cousins who were into it. My dad did a little bit of producing as a kid. I grew up. His best friend was a guy named Manny Eisenberg, who big Broadway producer, and so I went to Broadway shows as a kid, and I just saw it, and I was like, I want to be that. Including, actually, I remember very, very early experience of seeing Robert Guillaume, with whom I would later work on Sports Night in the all African American version of Guys and Dolls.
Jesus.
Play Nathan Detroit.
Jesus.
And he was fantastic.
Of course.
And so funny, and I was like, I want to do that.
You see how great Nathan Detroit can be.
Oh no, I know. Oh darn!
Don't.
I've watched enough to know where you're going to go with this.
Yeah, don't see what's happening now. Don't do it.
I haven't seen it. I
Yeah,
don't know, but I sure love Oliver Platt.
Don't. Yeah. See.
I've worked with him too.
He's fantastic. If he weren't so brilliant, I would never bring it up. I only like to bust.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I only like to bust the balls of the people who have the gift. If you don't have the gift, I'm going to leave you alone because I feel bad.
Fair enough.
On the other hand, Craig Bierko is a revelation. Truly.
He's a funny guy.
As Guy Masterson. He's absolute revelation.
I hear he's great.
Okay. So you're the devil in Yeshiva.
Sure.
Not so much in a blue dress. And you decide, this is it for me.
I just knew it was the thing I most enjoyed doing.
When you went to university?
I did. I went to Yale as an undergraduate and
I'm sorry, it says here you went to Yale.
I did.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I need to hear about this because I graduated from college in 9 months.
Is that right?
I do not know of which you speak.
Wow, that seems even more impressive.
Well, the other people call it dropping out, but to me it was always diploma, hat. Yeah, no, I chose the School of Hard Knocks, so I want to hear about Yale.
All right. Well, I had the parental thing.
Oh, you had no choice.
Yeah,
and you made them so very
I was
proud.
certainly going to college, exactly. You want to be an actor? Fine. They'd reconciled themselves to it because I'd been saying it for many, many years at that point. They said, but you got to get an education. And
why the hell did Yale say yes?
that's an interesting question. I don't know.
I think something impressed them. What could it have been?
Here's what my parents think. I went to a good college prep in a preparatory school in Riverdale in the Bronx called Horace Mann. Mm-hmm. And I was the valedictorian of my class, which normally is an academic achievement, but at Horace Mann it was voted on.
No.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And Yale didn't know that?
I think that's my parents' theory.
Yale didn't know you won a
My
popularity
parents'
contest?
theory is exactly that they thought you were the real, and actually it was controversial at the time because
fucking
Kenny
brilliant.
Pollak,
Excuse
a
me?
Mideast scholar now, who was an eventual Yale classmate of mine, complained to the high school newspaper that the students had acted irresponsibly by electing me valedictorian.
What was
so it was
his-
a little controversy.
What was his beef?
I think his beef was that he was much smarter than I, which I acknowledge.
He was the
He
actual-
probably would have been a better. Yes, he probably was. I don't know.
He actually had straight
I
A's.
understand his.
Yeah, you were a C- student who was voted
Not that
because
bad.
of your ability
Yes.
to do impressions.
And then the Horace Mann record came to me and asked for a quote, and I said, well, if it's a popularity contest, hey, it's nice to be popular. Headline the next day. Then people were like, he's not taking it seriously. Hey, it's nice to be popular. So that was the last time I was controversial. 25 years ago, yeah.
You said, I'm getting out of the controversy game.
Exactly.
So you're at Yale.
Sure.
And you're studying drama.
Yes.
But your major is?
My major is actually theater studies.
Really?
Which was for not only people who are interested in acting, but for people who were academically unmotivated. It seemed like an easy way to get through Yale.
Well, that's just it. That's the thing. I'm looking down at my notes because I'm trying to remember who to give credit to. But the fact that you actually, was it you, Jamie, or was it J-Mac, who said the fact that you're actually using your master's degree?
Not a master's, BA.
BA
in
the
theater.
fact
I
that
did not
using-
attend the prestigious Yale Drama School. In fact, I remember an agent named David Gus. Somebody who worked for him saw a friend and me in a play at Yale and asked us to come meet him. I think he was running the Gersh agency. I may be making all this up. The Gersh agency at the time. And we were like, this is it.
Yeah.
Oh, and we were, I don't know, sophomores in college, and we sat down with him, and she introduced us and said, I can't even remember what show it was we did. I saw them in this. They're great. I think, maybe. And slowly it became clear that it was just dawning on him that we did not go to the Yale Drama School. And he turned to her and he said, what the fuck am I doing here?
Really?
Yeah, truly. And we looked at each other and we went, it's not happening. And I don't know why, but he was absolutely uninterested at that point. He said, you almost had to give him credit. It was so clear. It's like, well, sorry, guys, and call me in 3 years or whatever. It was funny. It was like, okay.
You thought you
And we
were
went
boarding
back to
the private jet to show business.
We sure did.
Yeah.
And we sure worked.
Yeah, I had that moment when I was 17, and I went to see Rich Little at the Circle Star Theater in San Carlos, California. And I dressed up as Lieutenant Columbo for the show, and I walked down to the stage in the middle of his act. I think back on it now, if someone did that to me,
This is ballsy.
I would be so pissed off.
How old were you?
17.
Oh,
And I walked down the stage, and I had the overcoat on and the black tie and the white. And I'm sorry, sir, I don't mean to bother you. I hate to be a pest. Can I ask you something? And he brought me up on stage, and we did a little thing.
Unbelievable.
And then he said, come back after the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Columbo. And I go sit down. He's my hero. And I say to my friend who I'm with, you heard him, come backstage after the show. He's taking me to show business. This is it. This is it.
Oh.
And I go
I would've thought
backstage
so.
afterwards, and there are 50 people in line to get autographs. The same maniac who gets up out of his seat and walks down to the stage gets in line with the 50 people.
Oh.
I don't walk to the front. I wait my turn. And as I'm getting closer, I see Rich Little doing this. Hi, what's your name? Steve? Nice to meet you, Steve. Thanks for coming to the show. I'm sorry? Marilyn. Marilyn, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming to the show. Hey, here he is. What was the name? Kevin?
Oh.
Thanks very much. Good to see you.
Heartbreaking.
Good to see you. Shuffled off the buffalo like that.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
That was my
heartbreaking.
jet to
But
show
I salute
business.
you for being so ballsy.
When I was 17.
I'm not ballsy.
I was
and I
17.
wasn't at 17.
No?
I've never been ballsy.
I don't know.
I was controversial. Oh, I told that story. Once.
Let's go to the phones. Wait, we don't have them. All right. We're off to here we go. This is from, it says @ so when they're at, it's Twitter, yeah?
Oh, I love Twitter.
I'm not stupid. Do you enjoy the Twitter?
Yes.
You having a good time with it?
I am.
I mean, it's a
although I'm-
narcissist dream.
Completely. Literally, my wife, 92 times a day. Oh my God, with the Twitter. She doesn't get it at all. She says, what is wrong with you?
Right.
The family's right here. Talk to us. I go, yeah, but you don't care what I'm doing. These strangers care.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, she has no respect for me, and I
Wow.
don't blame her. 'Cause,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, what kind of grown-up thing is that to do? But, and I'm so bothered by I think a fair way to gauge how you're doing as an actor is how many followers you have.
No.
For instance,
No,
you
No, that's where you're wrong.
are Walmart.
That's where
I'm
you're-
more of a boutique experience where I can give actually attention to each and every one of my followers.
All right, well, we are...
Whoever the question's from, I will be familiar with the name. I guarantee you.
At Casey Flatlander.
Know her.
No, really?
I think so. I know Casey.
When you work on a show that gets cut early, like Sports Night, cut early? You mean didn't run 10 years?
Canceled, I guess.
What did you run, 2.5, 3 years?
2.
Yeah,
45 episodes. I've done worse.
How do you deal with not fully exploring your character? So this person actually cares about you and not so much the success of show
Very
business.
sweet. It's the fully exploring my paycheck that first really hurts.
Well, let's not, just make fun. The truth of the matter is, they financially change your life when they invite you onto a television series, and it's not to be understated.
Absolutely true.
Especially if you have a family or just what have you, they just change your life.
Oh,
and
completely.
You get into a groove. I don't know about yourself, but it's pretty easy to spend that paycheck before it comes.
Oh, yes.
Certainly map out what bills are going to be paid and how one's life is going to move.
My financial life goes like this. I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm poor, I'm rich, I'm poor.
Uh-huh.
And
for those of you watching,
and my wife would actually say that all the time. We're rich, we're poor, we're rich, we're poor again.
Yeah. That's the way you broke it to her.
Sadly, that's the way it is.
That was your way of saying sports night's been canceled. Honey, we're poor again.
But that already was a good one. I've had a show that ran 11 episodes. I've had a show that
ran 11
shot
years.
5 and aired 2. I've also done one that ran 4 years. That's the most. But I mean, I've had far worse than Sports Night was the first series I booked. I moved out to Los Angeles really thinking that I would be like a sitcom actor, and I thought it would happen quickly.
Yeah.
And I thought I would be the comic actor that I thought I was, and then just things took it. Things kind of, you don't really get to choose. Your career kind of chooses you. And Aaron Sorkin, God bless him, has been very, very good to me. And he, I went I think 7 years without getting a pilot, which I thought was what I was going to move here and do.
Right.
And then my friend, who happens to be this incredibly great writer, wrote me a part and gave me a job, and so that was an incredibly good experience. And doing 45, so I was very disappointed when it ended, but that already was like
But you already felt so blessed already. That
completely.
Yeah. And also the quality of the work was being celebrated up and down, left and right, and for God's sakes,
that was a fantastic experience.
Obviously.
But I also did a sitcom with my good friend Hank Azaria, our good friend, I should say.
Yeah.
And I bought a house largely on the strength of the 13-episode order, and on the day I moved in, first of all, my pregnant wife was with our daughter in Sacramento trick-or-treating because it was October 31st, 2001.
And why had they run off to Sacramento?
Because her sister was up there, exactly, so we were going to go trick-or-treat. Right. I was sitting in my house literally going,
this is
I'm
fantastic.
35, but I bought a house.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm looking at the kitchen where work's being done. It's torn apart, but whatever. And ring! Don't come to work tomorrow. Like, pardon?
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, it's not that, no big deal. It's just this script, and the network's not sure, and so we're don't come to work tomorrow.
How many had you done at that point?
I guess we had done 5. Because that's all we ultimately, we never went back to work.
Man.
Dear God. So I've had the ups and the downs of an actor in the trenches.
And before we get to the monumental success of West Wing, let's, with that teaser, let's go to the meeting of you and Aaron Sorkin, the incredible scribe. Obviously, I have my own introduction.
That's right.
Having worked with him after the ridiculous success of his Broadway play, A Few Good Men. And I saw that moment in his life when he went from playwright to wildly successful screenwriter. Nominated for an Oscar, I want to say, on A Few Good Men.
Well, let's say it.
Yeah, let's just say
Anyone? Research team?
Yeah, we'll have a direct answer on that little screen there in about 38 seconds. I know the film was nominated. All right, so let's talk about how you met. And my research says you guys have a cousin.
He grew up not far from me. I grew up in Westchester, New York, in New Rochelle. He in Scarsdale. He went to high school with my cousins, Rachel, Stuart, and Joel, with whom I've always been very, very close. I saw Aaron in high school plays. So I always knew of him a little bit.
Right.
They were also a little bit older than I, and I always looked up to this incredible Scarsdale High School drama club, or whatever they called it, and that was part of why I wanted to be an actor.
Right.
And so, in classic kind of Jewish mother fashion, when I got out of college, my mother said, "You should call Aaron Sorkin."
Wait a second.
That's how I was going to become an actor, start cold calling Jews that I knew. But
By the way, that should be the name of your first book, Cold Calling Jews.
But being the good Jewish boy that I am, I do whatever my mother says. So I called him. Hi. And I
You send her a check on a regular basis now for that
yeah, of course.
suggestion?
It was not a bad suggestion.
Wow.
And so I kind of touched base with him. He invited me over. We became fast friends over a, like sometimes 2 or 3 times a week poker game he would have at his house. I don't think I even knew he was a writer at the time. And I don't know.
What age are we?
I was just out of college in '88, so I was about 22, and he's a few years older than I.
Okay.
And I think casually he mentioned to me at one point, I wrote this play that they're doing on Broadway. I was like, really? And do you want to audition for it? And I auditioned, and I think largely due to his pushing for me to be cast in the show.
Which part did you audition for?
That's a good question. To which I should have an accurate answer.
I should probably stop asking you questions that have anything to do with your past.
Yeah, I am a little sketchy in the past. I'm so I can tell you.
It's not just me, honey.
I know George Gallo's life down and told. I really do. It's so many more highlights. I think I auditioned for the role of Corporal Howard, which is a small comic role, and I ultimately was one of 5 young guys cast to understudy. We all played small roles, and I understudied 3 of the leads. And I understudied Mark Nelson, who played Sam Weinberg, the role that you would essay on film. I understudied PFC Downey, who's one of the 2 guys on trial for murder, right. And then I understudied Corporal Howard. And boom, in one phone call, dream come true. Aaron's like, you're on Broadway.
Yeah.
You're cast. You got the job. You're
right.
Understudying these 3 guys. You're in the play.
And so the very first time that you go from understudy to cast member on the boards of Broadway, tell us about that.
Well, so I was always in it. But from the get-go, I was in the play. But we moved chairs around a lot, and we had a few lines here and there. And the first time I actually went on, as an understudy, you have very little prep time. Maybe you rehearse once a week, and it's really not about the understudies. It's just your job. You better know these 3 roles. And the first time I had to go on, I had very little warning, and I remember walking by the stage door and thinking I could just walk out of it, give up acting, get on a plane. Yeah, I was dying.
That actually crossed your mind.
I absolutely did. I was dying inside because I felt completely unprepared. I was like, I can't believe this is going to happen. Yeah, I really thought this. I guess I'm not an actor because I want to go out the door.
Foolish question. How old were you at that point?
I was about 23. Okay. So this was almost right after college. I worked as a PA on a movie, and then next thing I knew, Aaron had gotten me a job on Broadway.
And did you, in fact, like I'm asking a question in front of a jury, and did you, in fact, first job in film was as a PA on Fletch Lives?
Fletch Lives, that is true.
First of all, Fletch Lives. And it wasn't your first thought after seeing the movie? Maybe you shouldn't. Fletch, instant classic.
Sure.
Right? And we don't remember Fletch Lives.
All I know is
was Chevy in Fletch Lives?
Chevy was in Fletch Lives.
Really?
Yes, and I remember he used to have aliases. He was Irwin M. Fletcher, I guess, and every time he gave his name, the M would stand for something else. And I remember he walked by once, and I undoubtedly was getting somebody coffee because that's largely what I did as a PA. And he goes, "Malina, give me a funny M name," and I went, "Mahatma." He goes, "Oh, I like it." And then he went out and he used it. I was like, "I'm a professional writer."
That's fantastic.
That would sadly turn out to be the sum total of my professional writing, but it's in the movie.
Wow. You really, you couldn't follow the lead. You couldn't follow the opening.
No, I didn't. I failed to capitalize on the momentum.
Right. Immediately have cards printed.
I should have.
All right, so you're 23, you're on stage on Broadway, and the run was what, eventually? 500 shows?
It ran for like 15 months. It probably was about 500 shows.
That's what I had heard.
I would then ultimately do another like 250 on the road in the touring company.
And it wasn't until you were in that national touring company, that one performance in particular, you portrayed the role of Sam Weinberg.
That is true. And this was actually another time I should have learned my lesson, but I had not, because when they called to offer me one of the roles I'd understudied in the tour, I was delighted. I was going to play the Corporal Howard role, which is largely one big funny scene at the end of which everybody claps because it's written so well. So if you just say the lines in the right order, ha ha ha, and applause. Or you also get up from the stand and you start it yourself as you exit, which I think I learned from Jeffrey Knopfs, who originated the role. But they called me, offered me the role, and I was delighted. And then they called me back like 5 minutes later and said, "What would you think about understudying Sam?" And I said, "Well, I'd rather not. I'd rather take the call from 5 minutes ago when you offered me just that thing. Like, you know, I knew understudying was a nightmare. I didn't want to add. I wanted to go out cross country and have fun.
Right.
And I remember the general manager then called me and said, literally, if you were to understudy Sam, you'd get an additional $33 a week. How do you feel? I said, Stuart, I feel $33 a week better. What do you mean? How do I feel? That's not a huge I'm not a rich man, but $33 a week.
Let's break that down per day.
And very quickly it turned into, if you want to be in the play, you're understudying Sam. So my small revolt was that the one time a week that we would have understudy rehearsal, because I was so pissed at having understudy, I would do him as the Elephant Man. Hello, Sam. And the other actors did not appreciate that, but that was my I'm phoning it in. I'm never going to play this part. It's the tour or whatever. Right. And then, of course, one day came and Michael Countryman, who was terrific in the role, was like, I got a wedding. I was like, oh, God, no. God, no. Do I really? I have to go memorize the role for Wednesday? And I was horribly unprepared, having played it only as the Elephant Man. And but I did ultimately go on for the one single performance. And Michael O'Keefe, who was playing the lead, I remember him picking me up and holding me aloft like an Oscar at the curtain call, which I thought was sweet, because I had survived it. But I probably wasn't very good.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because we happen to have a clip of it. Can we run that, please?
A clip of what?
Yep, of you. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I was excited. Darn it.
Sorry, that was a bad joke.
I would ultimately appear in the film. I don't know if you know, I'm in the film too.
Well, of course I know you're in the film.
5 words, 3 of them yes, 2 of them sir. Like my screenwriting career, an inauspicious beginning.
Yes.
But exciting nonetheless.
Yes, no, I know that we co-starred first.
Co-starred, yes.
In that particular opus. All right, let's, I love including them, and I get a lot of shit afterwards for not doing it enough. I've got a tweet 5 for you, buddy.
Bring it.
Right? Or do I? I'm looking, God, I'm such a moron.
No, you refilled George's water.
Yeah, I'm sorry. While I'm refilling the water, can you
You're
find me...
You're such a good host.
You know what, I do.
What other host does that?
You know, the truth of the matter is, no other host is silly enough to...
You were raised well.
Well.
That speaks well of you and your folks.
And my lack of yeshiva.
Nonetheless, you are a moral man who does not let a man thirst at his table.
Tweet 5, fave role so far. Not a fair question, but there it is.
Favorite role so far, off the top of my head, I think I would have to say Jeremy Goodwin for a variety of reasons, but it was just in Sports Night, just a fantastic character created for me by a friend who's an unbelievable writer, and this really golden time in my life.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect choice. Left or right? That's a question.
Left. Is that how do I? Left, I think. I'm a southpaw.
Even though I know the
Moving
answer.
on.
Even though we all know the answer to this now, most used word.
I?
Mm-hmm. No, that was it.
Oh.
No.
Wow, I don't know. I say utterly a lot, but you know the answer. What is it?
No, I was kidding.
Oh.
I think it's a ridiculous question.
Oh, I like it, actually. Utterly, I think I say a lot.
Utterly? Mm-hmm. That's utterly weird. A 4, fave chips flavor.
Barbecue.
Nice. Nicely done. Blondes or brunettes? Really, people?
Brunettes.
Yeah, well,
one in particular.
I'm guessing she's a brunette. My brunette likes the answer to that question. Okay, yeah, I didn't want to forget this one because I found this one. Oh, by the way, that tweet 5 came from @Aldraku. Aldraku. ALDRAKU.
Unfamiliar with his work.
See, you've got fans reaching beyond. Okay. Is it true you broke Aaron's ribs while performing the Heimlich maneuver?
That is actually true.
Is it? That one comes from @Bendy Sweets.
Sure. I actually, early on, we used to participate in the Broadway Bowling League.
Of course.
Which was essentially the good folks of a chorus line bowling against the good folks of A Few Good Men. You know, once a week we'd go to, I think, the Port Authority, bowling lanes, and we'd bowl. And we were there bowling with the cast, and Aaron, in a typically generous gesture, bought a giant tray of hamburgers for everybody. And then he picked one up and took an enormous bite.
For humor.
Yeah, exactly. I think
This will be funny.
Yeah, and then he started to choke, and it was like
Also
that Dick
funny.
Shawn thing where we thought he was doing shtick, and then all of a sudden his eyes were kind of bulging out of his head, and he fell to the ground, and we looked at each other like, this is real. And
Jesus.
I don't know how good I normally am in a crisis, but part of me just went whoop, and I kind of picked him up, and I got behind him, and I didn't know really what I was doing, but I had a vague memory.
Clearly
of,
not, because you broke the man.
Well, I've been told subsequently that if you do it correctly, that does sometimes happen. All I know is I was doing it really hard, and I was pulling it up and pulling it up. I had a memory of kind of a poster in a restaurant, that 1, 2, 3 thing. And I did it, it seemed like a really long time.
You literally did not have a flash of that memory.
I did.
Oh, that's
I
fantastic.
absolutely did.
That's
and
fantastic.
I did it over and over and over, and finally this giant wad of hamburger shot out.
Saved the man's life.
I guess so. I
Saved the man's
think
life.
so.
Sports night. I see the art.
Yeah, exactly. I think there are many people who would think, yes, it's not so much that he thinks I'm a good actor,
No.
just likes to have me around when he's eating.
That's right.
But yeah, that did actually happen. It was very, very weird.
How scary. How many
And then I
attempts
remember,
did it take?
I don't recall, but I know it was a lot, and I know that we all had this weird moment of like, that was weird. And then he got up and he said, he was going to continue to bowl. And he got up and he ran up and he went whoop and fell on his back. And he got up and said, actually I think I'm going to go home. Literally. Like Fred Flintstone thing or something. It was just like, yeah, we're not going to keep bowling.
Wow.
Something weird happened.
Wow. Well, you didn't break a sternum, and I think that shows that you knew what
Thank
you
you.
were doing. In a
He
moment
subsequently thanked me because it somehow bought him more time with some sort of writing deadline, maybe for the screenplay of A Few Good Men.
Really?
Yeah, my ribs are cracked.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You gave the man a wonderful excuse.
Exactly.
All right, so thanks for that question from at Bendy Sweets. That sounds good, by the way, some Bendy Sweets.
That does sound good.
Right?
Sure.
Who doesn't want Bendy Sweets? All right, so let's get there then. Enough of the stalling. Walk me through the West Wing beginning and middle.
West Wing, I think, subsequent to the Hank Azaria debacle.
Because I remember American President was one of my absolute favorite romantic comedies, by the way. And I remember you standing out very much in my mind. And
Aaron gave me a very good, I'm having lunch at the Kremlin. He always gives me like a line that's in the trailer, makes it seem like I have a bigger role.
Right.
And he just gave me this great punchline that was in fact in the trailer and became my where's the beef? People would be like, Kremlin, like, yes. So yeah, that was a great experience. Aaron took me along and has taken me along pretty much every step of the way.
Right. Well, you saved his life. Let's not forget that.
There is that, exactly. I wish I hadn't given that away.
So West Wing.
West Wing, I should be ashamed to admit, but I'm not. I lobbied for a little bit. I read in the trades something about Rob Lowe considering leaving the show.
After only a couple of years.
Yeah, and I fired off an email to Aaron, and actually I had been out of touch with him for a little while, and it was something along the lines of, I'm just pitching, but what about using a less good-looking, less accomplished actor who would charge you less money? Sincerely, Josh. Utterly shameless.
You did not say that.
Oh, I did. I did. I even remember my wife was like, send? Did we do this? She was like, send. For the love of God, send. It was that shameless. And, ta-ding, I heard back very quickly. And he said something along the lines of Tommy Schlamme, executive producer and director guy with whom I had worked on Sports Night. Tommy and I had actually already been, I don't even know if it's true. He said something like, Tommy and I had already been talking about you, and I think this might happen.
Well, by the time you're reading something in the trades, this has been a problem.
Yes, I'm sure they knew already,
and
really, Rob
Tommy.
was going to go, yeah. Right. And then the next thing I knew, I was meeting Aaron at the Four Seasons, and he was telling me about Benjamin Beatty, which was the name of the character that would become Will Bailey, I think, when Warren Beatty said, I don't want you to name him Benjamin Beatty. I think so. He was like, no, don't name the character after, don't give him my last name. Right. I don't know if that was an objection to me or to...
You specifically, he did not want to have his last
name. But Aaron kind of described the 6-episode arc he had in mind, dangling that should Rob in fact leave and if everything was working out, it might become something more permanent.
Right.
And then he got kind of serious for a minute and said, I do have to tell you, the character is not going to be Jewish. I was like, are you kidding me? Do you think that's going to be a problem? I cannot play a non-Jew. Are you joking me?
He knew your love of Yeshiva.
He actually threw that in. Like, now here's the catch. I was like, it's okay.
Right.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I can ride a horse.
Yeah. And I got in my car and called my wife, like, oh my God, I think this is happening. And I'd been a big fan of the show already, so I stepped onto a moving train hit of a show.
Yes.
That I loved already. And
got to ride it for the next 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
Which is an extraordinary run. And a much celebrated television show, but the actual working, the day-in process of doing a drama of that stature, or any stature for that matter, the amount of hours that goes into
the
work.
hours are brutal.
Right.
But that being said, big ensemble, so...
Maybe you only work 3 days a week.
Exactly. Those days might be 16, 17-hour days, but then you got 3 days off to hang out with your kids and go be on the field trip, and so not a bad job.
I often say I'm not even sure it's a job, the acting in general, just in terms of, there's long hours that come and go, but...
Yeah, I don't complain about any of that.
Right?
Ever.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But real stellar work, and part of a cast that's nominated for a SAG award, like
and everything. I used to always say, when Alice and Janney and I worked together, that's 5 Emmy awards right there.
There you go.
And in fairness, all of them hers, but between us, 5 Emmys. It was like incredibly great actors, and incredibly nice workplace.
But also to step up to the plate in a situation where, I mean, I felt like, which I've joked about many times in my act, where's Waldo in the cast of A Few Good Men? Because I'm surrounded by deep ball hitters. And I was the only one really in the lead cast that the audience was thinking, who's this guy? Everyone else ridiculously famous.
That is true.
And I imagine stepping into a show like that that's been a huge monstrous hit for 2 years is similar. And then the next experience I had, which was shocking, was how everyone treated me like an equal, an absolute equal. There was no pecking order. And I don't know if that's what your experience was.
Absolutely was, yeah.
Was it?
The first read-through, which already, I mean, the fact that they did read-throughs was like because things are so busy half the time, there's no time for a read-through.
Right.
But they really took the time to read it and let Aaron hear it, and it was like a big party atmosphere, and John Spencer, may he rest in peace, came up to me and said, oh, I loved your work on Sports Night. And I thought, that's a classy guy.
Yeah.
Boy, do I feel welcome. Like, going out of his way to say something nice to me, and just hit the ground running. Everybody was incredibly nice.
Yeah. From the get-go.
From the get-go, and a lot of people said, was it intimidating to join that group or to try to replace Rob Lowe, this and that, whatever. Like, to me, it was the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, and I think...
Great actors, great writing.
I think when they're treating you like you belong there already, that's what makes it not intimidating.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I found. The notion going into it was, I hope I don't throw up on anybody. And then because they put you at ease so quickly, all that just flies out the window instantly.
Absolutely, yeah.
You forget all
My
of it.
very first day of shooting was a press conference. And that was, I just remember thinking, I gotta know my lines. Like, it's question, boom, answer, boom, boom, boom. And I remember actually sweating it out a little bit just because it was my very first day. And it was very dialogue heavy, and it was just all on me. But once I got that out of the way, and my friend Alex Graves, who is a great director, made me feel very comfortable on that day. But I do remember feeling a little bit, in all honesty, nervous that first day. And that's
How can you not? You bring up an interesting point, which is dialogue heavy. The way that Aaron works and the way that he writes, whether it's a movie or television show, is as snappy and interesting of a banter, especially on West Wing, of like Philadelphia Story. I mean, there's no stopping to pick up passengers.
That is true.
That is a super train, and you either get on board or get the fuck out of the way. And so my question is, you've been singing those rhythms for a number of years in various machinations, but when I had Joe Mantegna on to speak Mamet, I just had to know what that experience was like and that education is like. And to him it was, I don't understand why people have this problem with the Mamet language. I talk like that. Sorkin language.
Yeah, it's not difficult. I wish I could claim to talk like that. I'm clearly not that articulate. But that being said,
well, no one is. These are
exactly.
superhumans.
Yeah, exactly.
And their ability to think wiser than anyone and speak it beautifully.
Yeah, that is true. But that being said, if you say Aaron's words in the correct order, you look like a good actor.
Right.
I kind of feel like that's the story of my career. Like, you get out of the way of the dialogue and just say it. And I feel like that ultimately, that and the saving of his life, but hopefully in part, I think I speak, for whatever reason, I speak his dialogue the way he hears it. He'll talk about his own dialogue being kind of like music. He hears it a certain way.
It is music.
Yeah, and I just feel like if you I don't try to embellish ever as an actor, but particularly with Aaron, when the material's that good, you don't have to add to it.
Well, that was my feeling working and saying his words. Was a matter of, well, for me it was a sense that it was not snappy banter very much, but it really is one of those opportunities where you feel like just get out of the way and let it fly.
Yeah. Actually, and I think there is a connection, a Sorkin connection, because I don't agree with everything Mamet says about acting. He has this great book called True or False, I think.
You can't agree.
And he talks about the character. The character is the person who says the lines that are in the script. You don't have to make up what he had for breakfast that morning. If it was important, I would have written it in. And he says, an actor trying to embellish the character is like being on an airplane and going like this to try to help keep it aloft. It's unnecessary. And that sort of is my approach to acting. It's like, the character is the guy who says this stuff.
Yeah.
I always hear people say, like, what research did you do? I memorized the script.
Well, that's what I've been saying my whole career, honestly. It's never about how to be a Navy lawyer. It's about the person and just making them as real as possible. And when the script is written well, you can just get out of the way. Unfortunately for the Mammoths of the world, a lot of scripts need embellishment.
Yes, no, that is true.
A lot of characters.
Counterintuitively, it's when the dialogue is bad that acting is difficult.
Yeah.
When the material's great, acting's easy. It's trying to make bad material work.
Yeah.
Which sadly, most actors are called upon to do at one time or another. That's when it's a drag and a chore and difficult.
Yeah. Are you ready for another Tweet 5?
I so am.
They're going to get harder. No more
Are
softballs.
They really?
No more softballs. I've kind of had it with the softballs, I'll be honest with you. I think we've been really easy on you.
So I'm not a cocaine addict. I feel like I have something in my nose. Do I like cocaine?
You have nothing dangling from your nose.
Okay. Thank you.
It's
now
on
I can
the
enjoy
inside.
the interview.
It's on. Really?
Yeah.
That's what that's been?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was wondering why you weren't enjoying it.
Thank you.
Ready?
Yes. First, who's it from? I'm sure.
That guy 858.
Oh, so many new people in my life. I'm excited.
Just saying. But it's rapid fire, so put the cup down.
Oh yeah, that's right. Good.
Favorite Yiddish word?
Garnished. I do it all the time. I call my agent. Really? Garnished? Still nothing?
Oreos or Chips Ahoy?
Oreos.
Told you I was done fucking around. Favorite movie of 2008?
I'm a Fat Albert, or was that 3 years ago? I don't know. No, honestly, 2008.
Last year.
Shit,
Just looking for last year.
I don't know.
Nothing?
I can't name a movie I saw.
Slumdog Millionaire won Best Picture.
That was fantastic.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
Nah, let's leave it at that.
Thank you for the help.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
It's too bad.
Although, right? You know what? I've owned more cats than dogs by a large measure. I currently have no cats, but I have a dog. And in case she's listening, what am I going to say? Cats? That would be wrong.
You don't want shit in your shoes.
Exactly.
PC or Mac?
Mac.
Oh, please. Sure. Why are we even talking?
Of course. I'm an artist.
All right. That
fun.
went well.
Thank you, that guy.
Here comes another one.
Oh.
I'll let you have a sip. At Doreen at DMS. She put an at in the middle of it.
Another new person.
She added a mat. All right. Ready?
Yes.
Bartlett or Obama? All right.
Obama.
Wow.
I prefer the real president.
As opposed to the
Love
fictional?
Martin Sheen, but yes, better with the real guy, I think. Yeah.
Sure. Homemade ice cream or Baskin and Robbins?
Interesting. Homemade ice cream made it a day before yesterday. Peach ice cream. That being said, Baskin Robbins is my favorite. Not homemade ice cream.
You made homemade ice cream?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah. Peach.
So.
And then my kids both wanted a drumstick.
You didn't have any of those lying around?
No, we did.
Oh.
I was like, really? Homemade peach ice cream.
You don't want to frozen?
2 hours I spent on it.
Oh my God.
Go get a drumstick.
That's why they're there, to remind you.
Exactly.
Maybe you don't try so hard. Biological or illogical?
Illogical.
Nice. I don't even know what the question
I
means.
don't know, but I answered quickly.
Star Trek, Terminator, Salvation. Have you seen either of these two movies? They're brand new.
I have not.
Yeah,
By the way, going back to the movie thing, I love going to the movies.
But with children.
Yes, I mean, I go to kids' movies, and that's fine. I'll stare at any flickering image on a screen. 2-hour break and popcorn and candy is utter delight. And tried to get my kids
to watch.
I guess last weekend, and we said Star Trek or Hannah Montana. Either. My wife and I, Melissa and I, would have been delighted to go see either, and neither had interest in either.
Wow.
And my kid, my boy, would love Star Trek.
He would.
But I don't know, he saw one of the old ones.
And
he was like,
no good.
yeah. I
That's
said,
no
no,
good.
this is young guys, non-stop action, and you'll like it. But
This is young guys. This is not your father's Star Trek.
By the way, when I'm watching the show and you do that weird thing, I think it's like not buffering. It's a fantastic bit. Because I'm like, what? The fucking connection. I'm like, no, he's doing,
Oh,
when you
the
freeze, yes, I think it's... Well, I'm sure Ustream would never have that problem. But that's what I think. I think the show's not buffering. I'm like, fuck it. And then I remember, he got me again.
That never even dawned on me.
It's brilliant.
It's not Shatner. That's all me. I swear I'm not doing Shatner when I pause for no fucking reason.
No, I love the pause. It works.
Wow, that was really good. I haven't. All right, you guys are working. My chat jockeys are working so hard. I don't want to forget them. I don't see it. All right, so give me some new stuff, chat jockeys. There's something there.
What have we got?
I'm talking about his Twitter game, Total Pan Tuesday.
This is something that really hasn't taken off.
Now's your chance.
I can pitch it now.
Right?
I had great hopes for this. You know, I mean, people have got their little shticks that they do on Twitter, and
They've created Follow
100,000
Friday.
people are doing exactly Follow Friday. There's Pun Day. There's
Right. Doug
everything.
Benson, I think, tried to start one of these.
Doug Benson's fantastic. Every time I look, he's doing the movie game that he made up, and everyone's enjoying themselves. So I was thinking, all the celebrities on here, I'm going to do Total Pan Tuesday.
Right.
You wake up, God bless you because you once participated. You
did.
wake up and you post your worst reviews.
Your worst
Every
review. This
Tuesday.
is a great idea because it allows celebrities or alleged celebrities to show a human side of themselves.
That's what I think.
Which is to come up with a review that they may have found troubling when they read it the first time.
It's freeing.
But
you
like,
embrace the haters.
Like true poker players, you remember which hands more. The hands you...
The horrible losses.
The loss.
I would love to discuss my worst.
Your worst hand?
If I may.
Oh, no. That's
Okay.
coming next.
Okay.
Yeah. We've only got another hour and a half to do.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So... that's
I wish I had checked in
It's
sooner.
way too late.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't
So
realize we
nothing
were
but gut.
full bulge. This
No,
is called the GTS. My father to grab the suet. I didn't realize. I didn't realize we were GTS framed.
That two shots never used.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we edit that right.
Yeah, later when you.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Sure.
we don't edit.
Oh, that's right.
So that's the other great thing about the show. So says me. All right. So let's get to it. Let's get to our mutual love. I've held it off as much as I
Yes.
possibly could. It's called poker, and we can't get enough.
Sweet poker.
During my early days of going from 7-stud, which I played for 100 years,
Sure.
against the pros in the casinos of the Las Vegas area. I remember the transition to Texas Hold'em being very, very costly. It's a hell of an education, and it costs a great deal, if not more than Yale. And I remember playing in at Mark Thompson's game.
Yes.
I think it was the first time I saw you at a friend's game play. We had done the Celebrity Poker Showdown, which someone asked about, and I'm still trying to block that out. So no, we will talk about that. So, but I remember watching you play at Mark's and thinking, okay, that's the level that I need to get to before I stop losing money.
Did you hear that?
And start winning. Yeah. In fact, you had such moves at that game, and that game was pretty cocky before you sat down. I remember watching almost every sphincter tighten at the table, and it got to the point where you could pretty much take
I do remember
any
that.
of the blinds you wanted by just making a move. And everybody was like, he's got a good hand, I'm going to take a powder. It was pretty impressive, and it dawned on me, oh yeah, of course he doesn't have a good hand. He's realized that he can make a move, and everyone's going to
An
give him
aggressor's game.
yeah. It is an aggressor's game, right?
Yeah.
You just have to be willing to lose.
That absolutely is true. Yeah. Yeah. And you got to move the chips around.
Right.
If you're only waiting for when you got a good hand, there's only so much you're gonna.
What are the percentages of those who wait for only waiting for good hands?
I don't know what that means.
Well, if you are one of those people who says, I'm only going to...
You're going to do well on the nights when you get good cards, and you're not going to do well on the nights when you don't get good cards. And I guess that's going to roughly even out. I mean, and that's just,
and the best
show them poker. Yeah, I mean, there are going to be nights that are disastrous that you can't avoid when you're just, card dead the entire night.
And on those nights, are those not the nights to make the moves and forget about what you have? Because I always heard the best players didn't even have to look at their cards. And I don't think it's myth, because you play the player, not the cards. And if that's in fact the case...
I've certainly heard tell of that. I mean, I can't claim to that...
You haven't gotten to the ninth level of Spock's chess?
To the Jedi level of poker play. But yeah, I think it is about playing the other player and betting patterns and what you're picking up and all that. But that being said, I don't know if I can lay claim to that. But I've been playing Hold'em for like 20 years, and way before, because I got into a game in New York with a guy named Scott Ziegler, who from the Atlantic Theater Company. We used to play on their stage, and he kind of schooled us all in I guess we played pot limit at the time, Hold'em.
Right.
And then ultimately no limit. But
how do you feel about tournaments? Because I hate them.
I actually enjoy playing tournaments. I don't have the bankroll to play the big ones, or the giant time commitment relative to what you're likely to make.
Yes.
But that being said, I had my biggest win ever was like a year ago. I won $11,000 at a tournament, coming in 6th out of 1,191 people.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it was like such a rush and such an achievement that I'm desperate to. I wish I could take a year off and just play tournaments. So I do like playing tournaments. I'd be curious to see whether I could
make more than 11 grand in
yes,
that year.
Exactly.
That's unbelievably impressive.
Oh, that was a fantastic night.
Well, see, the thing that kills me is I'm 8 hours into a tournament that started with 800 and something players. I've been playing for 7 hours, unbelievably patient and smart. I'm so very, very pleased with the way things have gone. I've been able to represent quite the presence at the table in terms of my play, and I've earned a position of respect from my fellow opponents, and I'm able to make some moves when I feel it's the time. And then after 8 hours of that brilliance, I get into a hand that I belong in and play it absolutely perfectly, and somebody sucks out and it's over after 8 hours.
Extremely frustrating. Yeah.
Well,
at a live game, you go back into your
let me reload. What's the buy-in?
Exactly.
1,000?
Yeah.
All right,
the parameters. You're restricted only by the amount of money that you have, or can borrow, or can write a check for. Whereas in a tournament, so it's a different skill set and a different mind frame, because in any one hand, if you're out chipped, you can lose it all.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've played in
it's frustrating.
Total of 8 tournaments and final tabled in 3, which is not bad.
That's beyond not bad.
Right.
I wish I could claim to have
but
those stats over the number of tournaments I've played.
They weren't all 1,200 people.
Well, but whatever, start at 2 tables and end up at the final table 3.
But just for me, the 5 of the 8 that I didn't, it was torturous. Because it didn't matter how well I played.
You're an action guy. I understand.
I just all those great pots and all those great moves, and what do I have to show for it after 8 hours, Bob?
Garnished.
Yeah, garnished.
Yes, you're not wrong.
All right.
Now I want to play poker.
Right?
In fairness, though, before we talked about it, I also wanted to play poker. It's a constant.
Yes. A Celebrity Poker Showdown, my research tells me, came from playing in Hank Azaria's game, which I very much enjoy on a weekly basis and haven't seen you at in a long time.
That's
the children?
Yes, the children.
Yeah, let's say that.
That game has gotten big. That's an interesting game. I'm the only person ever to have been tossed, albeit temporarily, out of that game.
Let's do tell. Didn't know it was possible.
Perhaps 15 years ago. I can't even remember who brought me in. I have a whole group of friends I know through that game. Don't really remember what my initial... Andrew Hill Newman, sure. Right. I don't really remember, though, how maybe it may have been he.
Let's just say it was.
Why not?
Shortly after the LASIK surgery.
Okay. Andy Newman brings me into this game. It's Hank Azaria. I obviously know him. I know his work, and I'm excited to be playing with these people. And, it was a very small stakes game.
Right.
And it was the kind of thing where you'd play 2 hands, and then everyone would get a sandwich. And then you'd play 3 hands, and everyone would get up and get a drink.
Oh, my God.
And I was always sitting at the table going, for the love of God, whose deal is it?
Yeah.
And apparently that didn't sit well with some people since I was the new guy. And yeah, I mean, Hank called me at home and said, "This is awkward. I have to ask you to stop coming to the game. You're very serious about the poker. We're not so serious, and some people are really not enjoying you." I was utterly mortified, and I had like a 6-month suspension, and eventually I was brought back in.
What were the stakes?
God only knows, $1 and $2 and crazy games and shifting sands and This Is Wild and Follow the Queen. It was like a ridiculous game.
Awful.
And I think you can make the argument that at that type of game, you don't sit there and go, "Come on!"
Yeah.
So I may have been out of line.
I got to tell you, I got a similar phone call. Not thematic, but I got the Hank phone call.
Really?
Yeah, based on my my personality at the game. So
Did
I
you
know
actually?
of what you speak.
Really?
Yeah.
This I did not know.
Well, it's different and less good for me. So maybe I don't go into
Do tell. All right.
Well, no, the first year I played in his game, I sized up everybody in such a way that I was able, you don't get lucky for a year straight. So I'm not going to give all luck. I'm not going to give all the credit to luck. And took a sizable amount of money from the game over that year. The next year unfolds, and same players and same player, and I have like 6 bad weeks of the game in a row, and most I think gifted card players are not terribly fond of losing. That's as
True.
lightly as I can put it. And the hardest thing is to take a loss well, which I've learned as a child in sports, and am quite the fair play, all about nice game, nice game, nice game. And also have seen the passive-aggressive, "Nice hand, sir, nice hand, sir."
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
That asshole who can't shut up when he's lost a hand. And the only way he's not going to rip your eyes out is to just try to make you feel bad about beating him by saying, "Good hand, sir, good hand." I'm not going to name any names. I think you might know who I'm talking about. So rather than saying, "Good hand, sir," I would say, "Fuck me, really? You proud of your little suck out?"
I see.
Yeah, and that's not
now
appreciated.
I see the problem.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
not appreciated.
Sure.
No, that's not appreciated
Yeah,
after
well.
6 weeks of it. And Hank said, "Listen, I got to tell you, there's some guys who've been in the game 18 years, and everybody loves you and loves your play, and you're funny at the game, but the not losing well is a little bit of a problem." And I said, "Look, I hear you. I'm well aware of it. I'm surprised the call didn't come earlier, and it's easier for me not to do it instead of thinking that it's okay to get away with it. But I do know that call."
Interesting. So we've had it. We've bookended. Because now it's a serious, high-stakes game.
Yes.
I mean, I actually haven't played in a while.
It's a $1,000 buy-in, which for a lot of people is very, very
compared
serious.
to the $1 and $2, I mean, that's real money.
It's
That's
5.5 in
enough,
one version and 5.10 in the other, and you should definitely come back.
I would like to.
Yeah, you would own the game. That's all I'm saying. You would own it in a heartbeat. At Jesh Kioma.
Now that is a good friend of mine.
Okay. Then
Bring it.
I don't want to
Girlfriend,
disclude.
what do you got?
Ask him about his poker career and the fundraiser thing he just did. So we've talked about the poker. Now let's talk about the fundraiser thing he just did. Any idea what he's talking about?
Could be there was a Cure Duchenne,
sorry.
a wonderful cause to help cure the disease Duchenne's, and it's a version of muscular dystrophy.
Oh, wow.
Could have been the O.C. Hillel. I play a lot of. That's my big out. If it's like a charity tournament, I'm like, honey,
Honey.
O.C. Hillel. That being said, it's it's not like playing a real tournament. So I don't know. I don't know which one she's talking
The
about.
fundraiser thing he just did. Let's say the last one. What was the last one?
Perhaps O.C. Hillel. I don't know. All I remember is that one, last year, I moneyed in it. I think I came in 4th. I don't remember, a couple hundred maybe. It was a nice thing, and they have a little trophy. It's the last celebrity standing, and I knocked my good friend Dule Hill out to
wow.
win that.
Oh, that's hard to do.
Yes, and he didn't take it well and mocked me mercilessly. Not mocked me, but he was just unhappy about it. And so this year, he announces, as everyone's being seated for the table, that
Bounty?
a $300 bounty on my head.
That's not cool.
Yeah, for anyone who knocks me out
That's not cool.
before he's knocked out.
That's no
to which,
no.
of course, I responded, "You better hurry," because Dule is going to last about 20 minutes, and which he did to my great delight. And, the bounty was not paid, but I didn't do too well this year. I mean, I lasted for a while, but
We didn't see it
I
at
didn't money.
Hank's thing just a couple of weekends ago.
That was painful.
I expected to
because
see
that, and you sent me an email,
Yeah.
and it was 15
Free.
minutes from my house.
Yeah.
It was a free roll for what would have been a $2,500 buy-in.
Yes.
Fantastic cause. That's the day we're having my my son's birthday party with the giant inflatable water slide.
Where does he get off?
What was he thinking?
That damn kid of yours.
That was it. That was painful.
Can I tell you the prize I picked up
sure-
at that particular?
no,
Sure,
tell
I
me.
finished in the prize.
Did you? Good
I mean,
man.
the top 20 did.
Well,
Dinner for 30. You know 30 people you'd like to have dinner with?
Wow.
'Cause I don't.
that's funny. Nor do
I don't know 10 people I'd like to have dinner with, to be honest with you.
Dinner for 30
30?
where?
It's not important. I'm not
enough.
happy about it. So to give them any
That
sort of
seems like a
plug
good prize
would
to me,
disturb
but you're
me.
right. I don't have 28
It's a
friends.
place in Santa Monica that makes a nice steak called the Galley.
Bring some Twitter friends.
Will you come? Will you bring the whole family? I don't know how to fill out 30.
But I encourage you to do it.
Oh man, that's funny. Somebody else has said President. This is a 5. Okay, from @Lee Krista.
Know her.
All right,
And
That's
she
2
asked
out of
George a
4.
question too. She's
She
2 for
did.
2 today.
She got 2 on.
I'm watching.
Right? I'm not going to send 2 CDs, by the way. You can forget about that. By the way, all the winners, all the people, this is a prize thing. I've got CDs for you to participate. Just
Fantastic.
yeah, give us your ad mailing address, or one that we can ship to. Contact at KevinPollacksChatShow.com. All right, @Lee Krista, President Shepard or Bartlett?
Wow. Now I must choose fictional. I'm gonna go Shepard. I'm really knocking Martin Sheen left and right here.
Yeah.
Because he was the.
That's the other surprise I have for you, Marty. Nope.
He's here.
No.
I often see him actually in Malibu, and I think, do I want to have to explain who I am? I won't say that.
Really?
I'm sure he'd vaguely have a sense that we work together, but
Yeah. The
He's a
choosing
big star.
between him and
he used to call Alice and Jenny the tall one.
nice. Favorite movie genre?
Comedy.
Nicely done. Flight delayed or luggage lost?
Flight delayed.
That's pretty
It's
easy.
my stuff.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke. Wrong?
We're done.
Oh, balls.
You don't like the sweeter things in life? Is that what I'm guessing?
I do.
Really?
Is
'Cause
that
Pepsi's
Pepsi?
way sweeter.
Really? I'm a diet soda guy anyway.
Well, we're talking about diet.
I like
Absolutely.
Diet Coke. Perhaps I'm wrong.
No. It's not a
Too
pass.
late.
It's not a pass fail. Not a right wrong. Always lose or never play?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a
but you
hard
know
one.
what? It's not a hard one for me. Never play.
Yeah, I
Because
couldn't.
I'm there to win money. Yeah, I choose to always
lose. I think that's hell.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
that would be awful. I'd rather never play would be difficult, but if always lose is the alternative.
Right.
I enjoy playing poker, but the number one goal for me is to leave with more money than I arrived with.
I gotta be.
Yeah.
Well, I played well, but I lost a fortune, honey. No one wants to hear that.
Yeah. No.
If you're feeling of mine, Martha_S has got a tweet 5 for you as well, my
Bring
friend.
it. I enjoy this.
Aisle or window?
Oh, aisle.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't like that. I gotta go to the bathroom.
You right?
Pardon me.
I don't want to go
No,
over people.
I want immediate access
My
to
girl
that
wants the
aisle.
window. I don't understand. Superpower, invisibility or flight?
Invisibility.
Invisibility.
I think I'd be scared flying. Not George Gallo scared, but scared.
You can fly anywhere.
I have the ability to fly, and I haven't in 30 years.
Because once I did this.
Oh, and forget it.
Sailboat or speedboat?
Ooh.
Not as easy as you think.
Oh, speedboat.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Because with sailing is not for the Jews.
Enough. When are we going to get there?
Crossword or Sudoku?
Crossword.
Yeah.
Even the mildly difficult cannot finish in the Sudoku. I was for a very brief time, I was intrigued, and then I'm not good at them.
It's weird that Jews would not like a numbers game.
I know, exactly. That's a very good point.
Saying, lose sight or lose hearing?
Wow.
I don't even like that question. Because it puts
Are
a
there
bad,
two good things I can
just
choose
keep knocking
between?
wood. Neither will happen.
I don't think Jews knock wood. Don't knock the wood. It's a cross thing. I went to Yeshiva.
Oh, yeah.
You want to knock wood? Knock wood. Who am I to say? But do I have to choose one? I will. I guess lose hearing. I'm halfway there.
Yeah.
Just take the other half.
It's a guarantee.
I have like an old man hearing already. I spend half my day. I go, huh?
Right? Is it the children that talk too fast? What is
It's a combination of the children talking too fast, my body failing me as I age, and getting slapped doing a scene in college by Ibi Janko, a wonderful woman and actress.
Fuck her.
But, you know, it kind of popped over my ear, and I have I love that I'm actually answering this seriously. I have
This is so
a
great.
constant ringing in my ear. I have tinnitus.
You do have
Yes,
tinnitus.
accompanied by some slight hearing loss.
And we have her to thank for this?
Yes. It's nice that I named her.
This smells like a lawsuit.
She's a lovely, lovely person.
No.
It was just one of those bad timey things.
It
that
smells
popped
like a
over my ear.
lawsuit.
I think the answer is don't add a slap to, Antony and Cleopatra. It was like, it literally was. It was like, I don't even remember what it was, but it was some Shakespeare scene where they're like, you can do a paper or act a scene. We're like, we're acting a scene. And we added a slap to whatever Shakespeare thing it was. And that's when, since then, I don't embellish my roles. I just, when
Say
it's
the words.
Shakespeare, just say the words, get credit for the paper.
Do you feel like you've been here an hour and 20?
I don't. Has
Talking.
it been that long?
Yeah.
Fun. That's
Nice.
what's so special about what
Nicely
you
done.
do.
You're going to come just under the record with Matthew Perry, which I think was. We haven't shown a clip. So
Matthew
this really
Perry, who
has-
refuses to tell people to follow me.
Really?
David Pressman, at D Pressman. Now I've said it. He'll get more followers. But sure, at D Pressman, he'll pimp that account, but he
Right.
will not.
Yeah. You're not hung up at all on this.
No,
Yeah.
not I.
You're reminding me of how often he mentioned John Hamm. It's not important.
Ah,
Are you prepared for the Larry King game?
not really, but I'll give it a shot.
That's all we ask.
Right to it?
Again, not pass fail.
I haven't had a full erection since the Eisenhower administration. New Felsport, Connecticut, go.
Way to bring it home.
Thank
Way
you.
to bring it home. Nicely done, sir. Thank you very much for sharing all of that.
This was fun.
Yeah, right?
I don't want to go. I have to go now. Is
That's-
that how this works?
That's the reaction I want from all my guests. Yes, we'll take you to dinner, but I think there's a family waiting for you. So thank you very much. Don't move while I do my wrap-up,
I'll bring it home.
because it'll be awkward for everyone. Thank you for watching. Those of you who have watched after the fact, don't forget to give it a try every now and then, a Sunday, 5 p.m. your Pacific time, to watch us stream live. It's not crucial, as you're clearly enjoying this now, but it sure is nice to know you're here when we're doing the damn thing. So give that a shot. Otherwise, I want to thank the crew, Mahalo Studios here in Santa Monica. The crew that they would take a shot and give yourselves a little bow there. They got the Video Monkey and the JMac, the Dr. Chen, the A-Team. And here in the studio, the crew, we at Sam Levine is still on his way back from Cannes, so we have Rotman. Is it at Rotman? No, there's more than that. At Mike Rotman, right. And then there's at Jamie_Fox, who of course is head writer, chat jockey, and love of my life. All right. Thanks for watching, and as Doug Benson told me to say, get out of my face.
He's all of the rainbows, but none of the rain. He's dry, but he's an alcoholic. He's hosting this train wreck again and again, and he wears a hat. He's carrying